as you mentioned, if you check the website, allstar.garena.vn, in the standings, you could see that some teams are already locked in for the semi-finals. I mean, we already determined who are the teams who will go to the semi-finals. But the thing here is that these games are played in such a way that the seedings will be determined. So the placement, as I recall, if we still have the video of our team to feature in this game, and we're gonna load that one up. But again, it will be a fight between Vietnam and Malaysia. So first up, let's check the video first.
Hi, my name is Pungkok Singh, as known as Ozora Reki. I'm the support and also the captain of this team.
Superior, absolutely, but it's not over just yet as Ozora Reki wants some more. He picks up exile. The damage is already huge, and Thresh cancels out that Glitton call. And wow, immediately Ozora Reki from out of nowhere, a beautiful Tides of Blood. Full charge will take on down and the Glacial Fissure for added measure. Ribena in a lot of trouble. The second charge of transfusion will go up, but
Hi, I'm Jason Yeo, also known as Jeo, and I'm the AD carry for the All-Star team.
Oh, lagi bantu cantik kepada Suju. Suju ke menjadi masa. Meletup. Akhirnya Jaya telah mengamankan Suju.
oh, there you go. This is where he comes from. Ash Arrow Dollar is in trouble. The flash is good, but will it be enough? Oh my god, like I said, an amazing hook.
Hi, I'm Romhan. My IGN is Koala Bear, and I play mid lane for Malaysia All Stars.
Mereka ketahuan dan dia tahu dan buka dan buka 4 tetapi 5 pemain 1-3 berada di bawah dan sekarang Kudia akan kecudang, Zino akan kecudang dan mereka Arashi terpaksa melakukan sedikit permainan dan Arashi
Dalam team fight dengan
dan
ultimate.
pintu ditutup Kudia serangan.
I'm Adrian, I'm 17 this year, and I'm playing top for the MY All Stars.
A lot of team fighting potential. The teleport double TP down for Nakji is going down. Zeno, the tempered fate does go down, but the repel beautifully timed by Infinity, but it will come to no avail. The double kill goes over to Minoletsky. The fight has gone down. Minoletsky in the middle of it has taken Jaeyoungjo down. This is a problem.
Hi, my name is Eric. My IGN is Carry Shakespeare, and I play jungle.
Thất máu Paspel muốn hạ gục hai người này. Thất tung được hai người, một người đã đi rồi, người thứ hai tốc biến nhưng cũng đi nốt.
Zorobek is slowly closing in the gap with his butt.
Here is the Cocoon going to connect. Oh, Cocoon's linked quite correctly. Spell shield and they pick him up really quickly and peace out. That was very good target selection there from Caspian.
My name is Vishek. My IGN is Eiling. I'm playing support for the All-Star.
And around the dragon.
That's right, they're looking for that Drake, but the distance connects with
Cannon
Superior.
Barrage.
Cannon Barrage comes down and Superior does take the oh, and what a spell shield from Superior there. He doesn't actually
That is a nice feint on to the tower, but and an amazing heat-seeking hook reach, and the heat-seeking hook reaches and eats it.
When I pick my teammate, I look at their mechanic first, and I believe I picked the best individual player from Malaysia All-Star. And also I believe they have the ability to coordinate well as the team.
There we go, ladies and gentlemen, the final game as we go all in into this Game 6 for the Day 2 of the group stage of the Garena All-Star Championships played between the Legend Circuit All-Star team of Malaysia versus the All-Star team of the Vietnam Championship Series. Of course, representing Vietnam, it's time to get onto the reef and win this amazing League of Legends action as we go to the champion rundown.
So for Malaysia, we have Shiro on the Jace top, we have Caspiel on the Olaf jungle, we have Arhedge on the mid lane, Aurelion Sol, we have Jae Hyung on the AD carry Jin, and we have Ozora Reki on the Zyra.
Meanwhile, on the red side, representing the Vietnam Championship Series, in the top lane, you have QTV on this Morgana. Jungle, Levi, gonna go for the lead seed. The mid lane is gonna be rolled by Optimus on this Victor, and the bottom two is gonna be Celebrity on this Lucian ADC, and Rono P on this Stress Support. Gaming.youtube.com/user/PHGarena/live. That is our stream link. We are live as well on both of our Facebook page for the Garena Esports Philippines and Singapore. Be sure to share that one and invite your friends in as we witness this final match for the Day 2 of the group stage. So for the standards, for the lane matchups, what are your insights? I think this is the first time we've seen an Aurelion Sol.
Yes, this is the first time we've actually seen an Aurelion Sol.
This all-star event. Your
Well,
insights?
I think it's actually important to take a look at the pick and draft phase first. So we had Cassiopeia, Varus, and Syndra banned from Malaysia's side. So you don't actually expect to see a Varus or a Cassiopeia ban. So
Okay.
there's this term I've been pushing for a few
Okay.
months already. It's called the nuisance ban.
Nuisance ban.
Yes, a
Gonna take
nuisance
note-
or a buffer ban.
Gotta take note of that. I'll be sure to use that in every shoutcast.
Alright.
Okay. Nuisance
So
ban.
they ban these champions that aren't exactly very, very strong.
Okay.
Like, we've seen the Varus, we've seen it work sometimes in the past 2 days, but it's not exactly something that's super ban-worthy. So
Okay.
they just get rid of the Varus to actually open up the champion pool a little bit more. As you can see, Malaysia was able to get their hands on 3 of the strongest champions
I
on
see.
this current patch.
So that's a nuisance ban. It's a purpose for just opening up the champion pool.
Exactly.
Because
So
sometimes it could be said that when you ban competitively or meta bans, you're making the champion pool, the options, awkward to yourself as well.
yes.
I see.
So they actually were able to secure 3 power picks. They were able to get the J-Stop,
G-stop.
which is one of the strongest snowballing top lanes.
Yes, of course.
And then we have Olaf Jungle, one of the strongest early game junglers
Yeah,
as well.
yeah.
And
of
then we
course.
have Aurelion Sol, who is also very early game centric because of the amount of pressure he can put. He can
Yeah.
wave clear so fast and then roam. So as you can see, Malaysia actually has a really early game centric composition, except for the Jin, which actually starts to go online mid game to late game.
Yes, mid game to late game, yes.
Yeah, so it's very interesting from the pick and ban coming out from Malaysia.
Okay.
Well, we have very standard picks for Vietnam, but I'd like to talk about this Morgana versus
Morgana,
Jace
yeah.
Macken.
The Morgana in the top lane. What are your insights?
Well, I for one, I'm a top laner and I play a lot of Jace.
Okay.
And the only time I've actually lost lane is usually against a Morgana or a Galio.
Okay. Why? Why is that?
So the reason why Morgana actually works really well is because Morgana has this innate sustain with her passive. She
Yes.
has spell vamp and
Yes.
she has a lot of wave clear to actually make sure that she doesn't get free poke from the Jace.
I see. So one mechanic is that you just rack up minions on your own, pressure the lane so that no more rooms, no more holes or gaps that Jace can poke you.
Exactly.
with. I
So
see.
the thing is, if you were to run a Poppy is still vulnerable towards the Jace in the first few levels of the game. But
Yes.
a Morgana, being a ranged champion, aside from that having the innate sustain, all you can do is just keep pushing the minions in,
Yes.
equalize the lane pressure, and then try not to die, and slowly you'll outscale the Jace in the late game, into the mid and late game.
I see. So this Morgana pick, it's not really like a fancy pick. It's an intuitive pick against the Jace.
Yes.
Like especially opening up the Jace. Interesting insights of course from Iconic, one of the very best minds here for the Philippines League of Legends. And guys, just an update. Our game actually has a problem. The Aurelion Sol pick, mentioning that the Aurelion Sol pick, the orbs of Aurelion Sol cannot be seen in game. So they have to remake that, of course.
Okay.
There are enough grounds. Actually, it was nice that that bug manifested itself early into the game, because it would be a big problem if that happened, around the 20-minute mark, where things would be
Very
very
troublesome.
awkward to
Remake.
remake. So we'll just have to wait up as we load back into the game. But for now, guys, again, to all of our viewers, we would like to send our bigger shoutouts to our viewers from the other countries in the Southeast Asian region, for Vietnam, for Malaysia. Thank you very much for tuning in into our stream, as well for the Filipino viewers, from the viewers from Singapore, all of those who tuned in for the English broadcast. This English broadcast is brought to you by the full manpower and production of the Garena Esports Philippines. So mentioning Esports League, we maintain our 2 leagues, and that is the Pro Gaming Series, our very own league, competitive league, as well. Mentioning the recently concluded LoL International Collegiate Championships, we have also our very own LoL Collegiate League. So there are actually a lot of league, even in Singapore, even in Vietnam, even in the other countries, they have their respective leagues as well. LICC happened actually in Taiwan. Taiwan, #1. Yeah. You casted for LICC?
Oh no, I didn't get the opportunity to cast for LICC.
Yeah, alright. I mean, it's really interesting to see the collegiate talents. I mean, you could still see the difference between the professional teams, like how punishing a mistake can be.
Yeah.
So that's my insight, trying to distinguish between a collegiate team, even at the highest level, and a professional team. The interesting part though is that for the China team. They play at a very different level. Like they play with this signature mantra or signature label of Chinese teams that they play really aggressive.
Aggression,
committed to
yes.
that. Yeah, China equates to aggression for this lane. Right now, for this All-Star, it's really hard to bring the characteristics or the stylistic differences between the countries into this game, because this is not actually a seasoned team.
Yes.
The teams here are not really what's supposed to be. They are. They are voted. They have been voted for this All-Star event.
Yes, it's like a mix and match of different players to form a team. So they don't actually have experience playing with each other on the team before, like all 5 of them being floored together.
Yes.
And so, as you can see, there are
There are
some
pros
very-
and cons.
Yeah,
There are pros and
exactly.
cons to that, yes. But, you know, guys, for this one, the betting consequences here at the Garena All-Star Championships would be the champion here will proceed directly to Barcelona, the international wildcard event, All-Star event as well, alongside with the All-Star event by Riot. That is the International Wildcard All-Star will happen on December 1 to 4, whereas I think the All-Star event will happen on December 8.
Yeah, 8 to 11.
8 to 11. So 3 days along with the biggest names in the global League of Legends competitive scene.
It's
very
actually
like,
pretty similar to like how you usually go about things. Like
Yes.
you as a professional team, you go through GPL,
yes.
and then International Wildcard, and then Worlds. So it's somewhat like Worlds, but
It's somewhat like Worlds, but you know, the teams would be lightweight. Actually, the last All-Star event was one of the wackiest. I recall the match between Froggen and Double Leaf.
Oh, okay, Devil Live, yeah.
I recall something weird happened during that game. That it came up that they need to remake. I have to check on that. It's the 1v1 matchups, especially mentioning that you get to play with the legendary names. I'd say legendary because it's a legendary feat, becoming like to be hailed as the best players in League of Legends, having a belt of 3-time world champion in your pocket. But
Yes.
interestingly, it was Faker, but actually Bengi as well.
Also big.
But there's no hype really on Bengi's
Yeah.
side. But considering Faker, you get to play Faker, it's a really big honor. But actually guys, if you have access, if you can play in Korea, even though whatever your rank is, there's a high chance that you get to play with Faker because of the
Flex
reset on the
game.
flex.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes, that's true. So I'm also looking forward to the All-Star event because they're actually really fun game modes. Like when they have 2 people use one computer, one
yeah.
person was using the keyboard while the other person was
They've
using the
done
mouse.
that. They've done that.
Yes, they actually did. So it was actually really entertaining because you could see, like, I think it was they would always mesh the names between two pro players.
Okay. So combo of names.
Yes,
for the
exactly.
for the shoutcasting side. To make the shoutcasting
yeah.
side. I see.
So
And
it was
for the
very
names in
interesting.
total.
Yeah.
In the overlays. Okay. Okay, so was Double Lift and the Rush Hour bottom 2 of CLG?
I think it was Afro Lift. Yeah.
Afro Lift.
Afro Lift.
Yeah.
They were called Afro Lift.
Yeah, because
if I'm not mistaken.
that's one combo that I'm very familiar with. You, Iconic. What is your all-star team?
I've always
global,
been
global. Yes.
All-Star team.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
I mean, if you're going to build an all-star team.
I've always been an SKT fan. Like,
Yeah, so you're gonna go all ham, all SKT.
I think I'd go Smeb top.
Smep top. All right, so
Yeah,
that's
Smeb
rocks.
top. I actually like Kakao as a jungler. Even though Kakao's already dropped out of
I actually like Kakao. That is from, I'm sorry if I'm not
LPL
mistaken.
now.
Yes, LPL, but he was during the days of, he was in Bullets.
Yeah,
KT
LCK.
Rollstar. Yes,
Yeah.
in LCK. It was Kakao.
Yeah.
Yes, yes. He was the one who actually spearheaded the downfall of SKT during that time where SKT was not able to qualify for Worlds.
Yeah.
Yes.
Back
Okay.
in season 4.
For the
he,
mid
he
lane,
was
aside from
mid lane,
Faker.
Of course, Faker.
Faker, okay.
Of course, it's just Faker.
Just Faker.
And then for AD carry, I think I'd get Prey. And then for support, I think I'd get either Mata or who else? I think just Mata.
Just
Mata's
Mata.
pretty
Yeah,
good.
me too. I think Mata would really fit well as the leader of the team. I'd pick Mata as well for the captain and the shot caller.
Yeah.
Yeah. You know, the 2v1 game, I think it would be interesting to see the mic check on that. Yeah, the recording and of how they command. Because actually, on local events here in the Philippines, we've also tried that. Those
Oh, really?
fun game modes. Yes, I think that event was Gamers Never Die, where you have this two people, 1 PC event. But it's really hard. I wonder what about when it comes to the gamers. I mean, alright, for these 2 persons, 1 PC, yeah, who would you pair up with Faker?
For
And
Faker,
where would Faker go? For the mouse or for the keyboard?
actually, what I like about what Faker does is Faker is really good with his micro movement. As you can see when he lanes, he's
Yes.
actually really good with the mouse. I think I would put Faker on the mouse. Well, for keyboard, I don't think it matters as much. Because as long as Faker can tell the person what to do, then I guess it's not a problem.
It's possibly
'Cause-
that it should be a Korean guy.
Exactly, because what's important is the mouse is actually the one that handles your positioning and your targeting. So,
Yes.
regardless of the sequence of skills, doesn't
Yes.
matter.
Yes, alright. So there's this update, there's an attempt to build, to remake the game again with an Aurelion Soul just to retain the picks and the bans because you know how important a pick and ban rotation is. So
Yes.
sadly, an Aurelion Soul, the Aurelion Soul has been disabled for this game. Or rather,
Oh.
not really disabled, has been banned for this game because they've tried it on the next game. Still the bug manifests itself, so we'll be seeing a new pick and ban. All reset. Total. My guess is a total reset. A total reset on the picks and ban. It doesn't mean that when only an Aurelion Soul gets banned, everything, every pick goes the same. I mean,
Okay.
yes. So we're gonna start again with the drafting phase, with the bans, with the picks, guys. Again, to our viewers, I know you are following, especially for the Vietnam and for the Vietnamese and of course for the Malaysians. Again, you're very interested in what will be the outcome of these results, and of course they cannot joke it up. Whatever picks and bans has to be done here, even though they have qualified already for the semifinals, they still need that placement. It matters a lot, especially if you want to avoid one team at least trying to face off the second seed.
Yes.
Yes, because there's this gauge on team, of course. Even you've been in a competitive play, and sometimes you want to go into the brackets in such a way that you prevent some teams at first.
Yes, exactly.
At least minimize the effort, right? Manage your way into a tournament in such a way that you can be efficient. The keyword
Yes.
here is efficiency. So there we go, guys. Let's see if we'll load up into the drafting phase. You've seen the video of teams of Ozora, Vegi, ladies and gentlemen, for the Malaysian team. Now let's go. New drafts. Cassiopeia, answered by Rise. Varus, what are your insights so far? What's happening here?
So I think Malaysia's still going with the same strategy, picking up two nuisance bans. Like Cassiopeia isn't something that's insta-banned, especially with how strong Syndra is right now.
Yes.
But we have Syndra banned and we have Jace banned. So
Okay.
this is actually preemptive from Vietnam because they saw that because of these two nuisance bans,
Yes.
Malaysia was able to get 3 power picks.
Yeah.
So they actually banned out
The Jace.
one of the power picks.
One of the
so,
power picks, that's Jace.
But we have an Aurelion Soul Hover. That's
No. That's just a troll.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I mean,
Because
Aurelion
I
Soul
would
was
think
banned.
that
Yeah.
they wouldn't pick it again because we don't want the game to bug.
Yeah, of course. So, first pick here by the Malaysian team would be the Lee Sin. The gameplay, I mean, interestingly, so if ever they prepare the composition revolving around an Aurelion Soul or heavily involved an Aurelion Soul, it's not really disabled. Right now, they're gonna pick a Lee Sin. Quite, it's very likely it's gonna go in the jungle. It's only in the Indonesia that they aim to put that up top. It's kind of weird that it was put in the support earlier on. Answer for the Lee Sin would be an Elise. What are your insights so far? I mean, these are pretty balanced picks. Yeah, not much.
The Vietnam also first picked the Thresh last time. So
Yeah, alright, so
it's pretty weird. Elise is okay. He's an okay champion. He doesn't tell much about
Yeah.
what Vietnam's planning.
yeah,
Like even the Lee Sin pick, it doesn't show much.
that's so
into-
much. Both of
into
these
what
teams.
Malaysia wants
Yeah.
to achieve. So
Especially
we'll actually get a clearer picture now in the
Yeah.
second rotation of picks. from
Especially now that
Malaysia.
they have an idea
exactly
what the other team will pick.
Mhm.
So it's like this draft has become more awkward in a sense that there's a lot of hiding that's being done here on the first iterations and first rotations of the pick and bans.
I was actually really looking forward to seeing a Jace Aurelion Soul Olaf together with the Jin Zyra. That's a very strong composition right there. So it's a shame that we won't be able to see that.
no
But
Jace.
we see a hover over Zyra and Kennen. So Kennen, one of the best top laning champions. Ideally, he wins all matchups,
Yeah,
assuming he knows how to wave control and hits all of his shurikens.
and we won't be seeing a Morgana yet.
Mhm.
I'd say, of course, without the Jace,
Yes.
it's not really that intuitive anymore to pick up a Morgana. It's going to follow the pretty standard rotations. We've seen a Zyra, we've seen Kennen. An answer to this would be to reveal the ADC. It's called now.
Kog'Maw it's kind of hard to build the jungler composition.
Yeah,
Thresh isn't actually known for his AD carry enhancing abilities. He's just a master. He's a master of all.
Do take note that Jin is still available, and this is a Zyra. You're going to pick up a Kog'Maw against
Don't
Zyra.
ever pick a Kog'Maw into Jin because Jin just destroys Kog'Maw.
Yeah.
There's a reason why Kog'Maw, even though he was super strong, his pick rate dropped so low.
Yeah.
And it was because of Jin.
Yes, and to that, aiming to put still Morgana probably in the mid lane. For the top lane, Morgana gets locked in.
Yeah, it's a flex. It's a flex.
Flex,
It could be
still a
mid
flex.
or it could be top. So
Yes.
Malaysia's in a good position to actually reply with this.
Morgana against Cannon if ever top lane situation.
I think it could go even. I think
Even,
it
yeah.
depends on the cannon. This usually depends on the cannon if he can land all his shurikens.
Yes, yes. I'd say that's as well. It is the G that gets locked
Yeah,
in,
that's
of
actually
course.
very
Yes.
smart from Vietnam
Smart winning,
because
yes.
if they get any other AD carry aside from Caitlyn or Ashe, they're going to have a really hard time with the Jin Zyra. So an Ashe hover is kind of okay. Ashe can go pretty even versus Jin. So matchup wise, I think it would go either way because
Yeah.
right now it depends whether or not the Thresh can actually pull off his superior mechanics.
Yeah, nobody's being, heavily outdrafted yet in this drafting phase. So that's what's interesting about the picks and the rotation that's happening here. But instead of the Ashe, they're aiming to go for the Lucian, go for the Ezreal. It's not a bad pick. Yeah, I'd
Lucian
prefer
Ezreal work very well.
Lucian.
Yeah, Lucian Ezreal work very well.
Yeah, would work very well. I'd say. Compared to the Ashe has like a better scaling with me.
Yeah, but Ashe has a hard time against Jin. But
early game in terms of mobility. So I'd say there's a lot of safety on this Ezreal. So yeah, maybe cut your risk that you're putting into the game. Pick that Ezreal. And Orianna will be brought into the table. It could be a combo for this cannon as well as can be delivered by the Lee Sin jungle. But last pick here for Vietnam would be their top laner or mid lane.
Mid lane?
Yeah, mid lane
I think-
flex. Let's see.
I think there is some merit to seeing a Morgana mid and then a Maokai top. Because Maokai is
Yeah.
actually good in 6.21. And aside from that, Maokai could do pretty well against a Kennen or a Lee Sin ball delivery
Yeah.
system.
Is there an
But-
update on Maokai at 6.21?
No.
I didn't recall.
But
yes.
Maokai is
It was
actually just a
he
decent top laner.
Yes, he just rose to the top because of the series of nerfs.
No,
very
it's
probable.
not
It's
because
just-
of that. It's because
just-
of the amount of AoE damage that Malaysia would have. Like, they have
I
a Kennen,
see.
they have an Orianna.
For this case, yes.
Yes, they
yes,
have a Zyra. So
yeah,
a Maokai
definitely.
with the damage reduction
Yeah.
for the team, if he can just eat all of the damage and
Yes.
absorb it and release it onto the Malaysian team, it
Definitely.
could work. But
the DPS, the DPS from the Slicing Maelstrom is heavily countered by the added durability done by the Vengeful Maelstrom as well.
Yes.
So it's like Vengeful Maelstrom versus Slicing Maelstrom.
yes, as we were seeing a few games ago, we saw that Alistair is a very good good counter for
Kennen.
Kennen,
Yes.
exactly. But as you can see from the Vietnam side, none of the champions actually counter Kennen super well.
Uh-huh.
Because the best that you can actually
Yeah.
have is the gravity field coming out from the Victor, and
Yeah.
that's not even a
It's
guaranteed
kind of risky.
hard CC. Exactly. So it might be up to the Trash to actually save his entire team from the Kennen onslaught. Because a Kennen is very dangerous, especially if he sets up a home guard TP flank
Yeah.
and then gets the ball delivery system onto the enemy. It could be devastating for Vietnam right there.
Is this like a draft won by Malaysia, let's say? Because they already Thresh has already been revealed. That stops the Alistar from getting picked up. The Alistar's gone. So you just pick a Lee Sin and you remove a lot of options against the counter, against the cannon. So the remaining counter for the cannon would be the Maokai, as you mentioned. And of course, it's very unlikely maybe they thought that the Vietnamese team will pick up a Maokai. So
Especially because Morgana is very weak versus Orianna as
Orianna.
well. So yeah.
So it's very likely that, and that might be the intuitive drafting that the Malaysian team has done, leading Vietnam on picking a composition that has no direct counter against the cannon. Yeah,
So it's actually also heavy on the Elise as well to be able to cocoon the Kennen.
cannon. Yeah,
But as you can see, there's actually a good mix of AD and AP damage coming out from Malaysia as well. So it's going to be hard to itemize, especially when you don't have any true tanks as well
Yeah.
coming out from the Vietnam side. You have a Morgana top, you have an Elise jungle, you have a Victor mid, you have a a Jin
Yeah.
AD carry, and you have Thresh support.
Thresh support.
So it's very hard for them to itemize properly regarding the amount of the different damage types coming out from Malaysia.
Malaysia. Maybe it's about time to maybe it's about time to have a new item
Mhm.
that costs to knock back someone. I don't know.
Maybe.
You know, because there are very few options to champions that has the same mechanic as with Kennen.
But usually what happens is those kinds of items, they get abused really well. Like
yeah, I'd say.
one of the reasons why Proto Belt was used
Yeah.
was because it was supposed to give non-mobile champions mobility ability, but what happened was it gave champions with mobility abilities more mobility instead. Like
Yeah.
you saw Kennen, it was supposed to be for it was a item for Annie because Annie didn't have a lot of mobility
Yeah.
aside from Flash, but now you see it more on champions like Ari, on Kennen, things like that.
As I recall on the feature it of the Proto Belt, Annie was the one who's using the Proto Belt.
Mhm.
So it was really intended for immobile champions like Annie.
Exactly, but then what happens is it gets further abused by champions who already have it. So if you
Yeah.
have a champion with hard CC and you have an item that gives hard CC, I guess it could be abused as well.
Yes, much like Lissandra. So for now, guys, we already welcome you over to Summoner Stream. So with these new picks and bans, let's go for a new champion rundown. On the blue side, representing the Legend Circuit Malaysia. In the top lane, Team Zero, this time picking up a cannon. Caspiel is going to be on the jungle. Lee Sin, mid lane, it would be our hedge on this Orianna. And the bottom two is going to be Jae-Young. Jae-Young has always been picking Ezreal. Ezreal ADZ and Ozora Becky back at it again on this Zyra support.
While for Vietnam, we have QTV on the top lane Morgana, we have Levi on the jungle Elise, we have Optimus on the Victor mid, and we have Celebrity on the AD carry Jin, while Ron OP is on the Thresh.
Alright, so let's see. Discussing the matchups here, the changes. Actually, I had a hard time recalling the drops earlier on, but I'm very sure that it was the Aurelion Sword that was removed. So, going first, well, it's kind of intuitive what the mid lane matchup is. Orianna has a fair share of advantage against the Victor.
The Victor has early pressure against the
Orianna.
Orianna, especially because the Victor actually stole a Raptor
Yes.
from the blue side
Oh.
jungle. So he has the EXP lead. As we were talking about earlier, whoever gets the EXP lead gets to bully their enemy out a little bit more. But the price that he had to pay for taking that one Raptor is he lost wave control. So
Yes.
it actually is he actually is at the EXP deficit until
Yeah.
his wave starts pushing back towards the Orianna.
Yeah, I see. With the help of the tower. So, it will fall upon around the level 4 or level 5 mark before that Raptor will manifest itself. For this bottom lane matchup, I'd say it's very interesting to see Ezreal and Zyra. It's really weird.
What's interesting here is you have an all-in support versus a poke support.
Yeah, that's the interesting part. So let's go. There's a flash coming in from Roan OP. Gonna put the CC on Jae-Young. That is Levi. Levi gonna focus here, and the kill will be given. Really nicely done by the Vietnam team onto Celebrity.
Wow, that is very interesting pattern coming out from the Elise. We've seen a lot of these early ganks all
Yes.
across the day. Like they tend to prioritize. Actually, we saw Tamsu pull off the same thing, but it didn't result in a first blood. Luckily, Levi was able to not be spotted out, and aside from that, they have a Thresh to actually pull Jae-Young back into the middle of the lane.
Yes, and you know, going back to Tamsu, although he's not in this game, it's like the Southeast Asian meta favors Tamsu's playstyle, or rather, the playstyle in the Southeast Asia is like synonymous to Tamsu's. The early game aggression. It's
Yes.
always has been. It is very reflective in almost all of the games here at the Garena All-Star Championships. So, again, status of the map. First blood given onto Jin. That's gonna be big against the Ezreal, even against the Zyra. Especially again with the awkwardness. How awkward this bottom duo is. Mentioning that it's a poke versus an aggressive all-in champion, especially Ozora Becky with an ignite. Not to mention that there's a lot of what makes this work is the utility that the Thresh has. Good on our hedge. Dead sentence won't fall up almost in front of Caspiel. So still, it's a lot of safety, but pressure brought in this mid lane.
This is pretty deadly considering how far ahead the Jin is.
Yes.
The thing about the Jin versus Ezreal matchup is that the Jin can scale pretty well early on.
Yes. It's Celebrity. He still goes down on the tick of that ignite. So again, the Jin good.
Because what happens is when the Jin gets the serrated Dirk, he actually gets more gold efficiency versus a Tear of the Goddess coming out from the Ezreal. So
I see.
from that point until the Ezreal starts building items, he's actually at a weaker point than the
Ah,
Ezreal,
yeah.
than the Jin.
Yeah.
So the Jin can actually power spike earlier just because his itemization pathing is better than that of Ezreal.
So it's because of the fatigue. So that's one thing to consider as well. Nice insights there. Iconic. And now, into our scoreboard, so it's very likely, yeah, you'd go for the serrated Dirk. Yeah, I'd say as well, compared to the Caulfield Summer. I think serrated Dirk provides movement speed.
No,
well.
serrated, that's 6.22,
6.22,
but in
yeah.
6.21, it gives you flat armor penetration plus 15 bonus damage when you kill a minion.
When you kill the minion. Alright. So, it was a 6.22.
Yes.
Actually, 6.22, a lot of items are built around serrated Dirk. There's even this jungle item who transforms into serrated Dirk.
Yes.
So it's like Riot giving us a lot of serrated Dirk. Dirk in the 6.22 patch, in the preseason patch.
This is actually very interesting coming out from the Elise because he actually wants the gank now. As you can see, the itemization he chose versus the itemization that the Lee Sin chose. You can also see how aggressive this Elise is, opting for the early Sorcerer's Boots.
Yes.
That early Sorcerer's Boots will help a lot in damage dealing in the early ganks, but it's going to make him fall behind in levels because as you can see, if you have two components of the jungle item, it actually gives you more EXP than just having one.
Oh my god, but let's see. Of course, this is the Soxus you're eating, Caspiel. So we will see. Chaos Storm gets zoned out, puts in the sidestep, delivers the ball onto the Victor, but Victor managed to pop the Lee Sin. I think that's a flash. Yes, the flash gets burned on Optimus' side, even the Ghost. So nicely done there by the jungle and mid lane combo duo here by the Vietnamese team.
So right now you can actually see that the top lane is actually super even.
Yes.
A while ago, the Morgana was shoving the lane in really hard against Kennen because one of the things that Kennen doesn't have is wave clear.
Yes.
So the ideal situation is that the Kennen keeps auto-attacking the wave so that he starts slowly pushing and he gets a minion advantage over the enemy. So he can start freely poking you with his auto-attacks and his shurikens.
Yeah.
But
I find the Kennen wave clear really awkward. It will take around 2 skills. Sometimes you need the Proto Belt as well.
exactly.
If you want to wave clear properly.
So it's kind of similar to like the Jace thing, where Jace is kind of like an AD version of Kennen, but usually you want to start poking your enemy down with your auto attacks.
With a smaller Thunder AoE.
Yes.
No, I'm just joking. I mean, in terms of the poke at the range, yes, with the auto attacks.
Yes.
Yeah. Plus,
Jace has more all-in potential as
Yes.
well, but Kennen Kennen is more consistent in terms of AoE damage.
Yeah, consistent. And now Optimus gets collapsed. So they do know that there's no flash, there's no ghost. Let's go all in. And that's Oriana and Lee Sin taking command. Kill given onto the Malaysian mid laner. Now they're gonna collapse onto Levi. They know that no mid laner will respond onto them, but there is a top laner. Still, the Oriana doesn't follow through, or maybe in the distance, just enough in time for QTV to join the fight. QTV is gonna flash in, receives the shockwave, stops his engage, but it's enough time to actually for our hedge to get proc by the Soul Shackles. No casualty yet. It's the Optimus, the fresh death.
Net win is actually for Malaysia because they just traded in the ultimate of the Oriana and her cleanse for both flashes from the jungler and the top laner for Vietnam.
I see. Yes. So crucial summoner spells. Most of the time summoner spells are more valuable than ultimate because of the long cooldown times.
Exactly.
Yes. So we'll be expecting an action. Probably one option now is to go for the top lane. Go for QTV because of lack of that flash. And do take note that Shiro has the flash advantage. Plus, besides that, he has also a teleport advantage. I mean, in a few seconds.
That was actually really interesting because Caspiel actually uses first Dragon's Rage to actually net him a kill.
Okay, yeah.
And the fight at Red Buff was actually really close because Caspiel had the advantage. If he was able to get the red buff, he would have probably killed Levi without question. But Levi was able to get the smite, last hit smite onto the red buff, restoring HP to him and also giving him the red buff as well.
I see.
So initially, if Caspiel already had red buff there, and he was starting a skirmish against Elise that was taking damage from the red buff, and he also had red buff. So had he just focused down the Elise instead of hitting the red buff,
yes,
he could have probably killed
Secure
the
a kill
Elise
now.
before the Elise would be able to kill the red buff.
Ah, I see. There's like a high chance, as you mentioned, for the Lee Sin. Go for the Elise instead of the red buff, not contest the red buff. Probably he's just trying to, you know, consider that Elise is a kit for rappel. Like this one though, it's used aggressively. Our head's gonna get collapse on, and that's a flash getting burned. But do they know there's no ultimate onto Victor? Still a big win for the for the Vietnamese mid laner.
What's actually interesting here is that there aren't that many rotations so far. It's just the junglers moving in and out. First, we had Ron OP at the start of the game rotate to the mid lane, but we haven't seen any rotations anymore coming out from the supports. But as you can see, like the damage that Jin can be able to deal, especially with the dancing grenades, fort bounce,
Yeah.
it just dealt around 25% of Jaehyung's HP. So, as we were talking about in terms of itemization and gold efficiency, the Jin is actually doing pretty well.
Yes, and it's as well as taking advantage of the item padding that he has against
Yes.
an Ezreal. So it's a little bit of a reset into this game, aside from the juicy target in the top lane against the side of the Vietnamese team, knowing that QTB has no flash. You have to take note that you cannot easily take that one, especially with a present, with an alive Infernal Drake.
This is actually really smart itemization coming out from Shiro. He's opting for the Abyssal Scepter. So this will make Ron OP actually need to rush the Locket instantly, or else his team will be decimated just by the by the negative magic resist given by Abyssal Scepter. Also note that both teams actually have 3 AP damage sources. So it's actually super effective for the Kennen because he can't be bursted down because of the magic resist, and he also makes the enemy team more vulnerable to his team composition as well.
Not to mention that the Jin cannot really put bullets on him. I mean, Kennen could be hurt maybe by the skills, by the dancing grenades, by the curtain call, but if he relies on his normal hits, like it's only 4 bullets, he'll be in range of the Kennen's combo. He's a priority target for a Kennen combo, so wow, this hero is actually in a good place. And as we mentioned, in this composition, the composition of Vietnam has no direct counter against the Kennen engage.
I would also wonder what the Victor is going to opt for as his first item now that he has his perfect hex score. So we already have a Morello Nomicon.
It's about time to go for the Shockwave burst. The Shockwave, it misses, ladies and gentlemen. No return. But at least it was Jayo able to sniping Ron OP. The second proc of the Death Ray won't be enough. Double kill is allowed here for Optimus. It's a 2 for 1. As I see, Ron OP is gone. So yes, in the mid lane, it's a big win for Team Vietnam.
Well, that is what what I was talking about earlier, like Ron OP making the gank onto mid lane.
Yep.
So what actually opted Ron OP to actually go back to the mid lane was because the lack of summoners coming from the Orianna. Because the Orianna already burned her flash earlier, so he went to the mid lane, forced to fight, and they actually won that exchange for 2 for 1.
You see guys, how crucial
that could have actually been a 2-0 had Jaehyung not hit his ultimate onto the Thresh. Because he actually got sniped, remember?
Yes,
so
yes.
It could have been a different story had that not happened.
Yes. If it was nicely done by Jaehyung. I mean, to snap the Thresh, pero yes, definitely. It was a lucky shot, I'd say.
Yes.
So, now, what we learned from this game is that those summoner spells are very crucial, and if you capitalize on them, you'll take a big win. Because it could be said that Ron OP, as you mentioned, forced that fight. It was a forced fight. Usually, forced fights are bad news, but you know that's how it is done. Especially if you want to capitalize on lacking summoner spell. So right now, let's see what summoner spells are once again gone. Actually, I'm seeing a lot of flash available on the map. It's actually Caspiel whose flash is on cooldown, along with our hench. But you can see the advantage there to be done here. Main damage dealer, Celebrity, Optimus, QTV, even Levi has their flash up. So they could actually be decent dealers mid lane. But you know, they're steadily getting into a position in such a way that they could take this Infernal Drake.
This is very scary now because this Jin already has 1 item, while the Ezreal is still slowly building his components for Trinity Force. He'll probably have it on his next back. But right at this very moment, if they were to go for a fight, the Jin has a clear advantage because he has 20 armor penetration coming from his Yumus. And Yumu's the 20 armor pen is super useful, especially against a squishy support like Zyra or even a squishy AD carry like Ezreal. So it's very scary right now.
Right
just
now, yeah.
just
For the-
how
For the next
how-
few minutes.
Yes, just like how Vietnam is really spiking, and they can actually, like you said, take the Infernal Drake as well. They can start pressuring this because they should be establishing vision control. When, as you can see, Ron OP is gonna back already. He's gonna go back, refresh his wards, and then they're going to start getting vision control over that Infernal Drake, just because they should be able
They
to
should
realize
be,
that they
yeah,
have a
the
lead.
advantage.
But Ron OP chooses to stay, not matching the back timer
Oh
with
my God.
the Elise, so a very questionable play.
Yeah. And to be said, you also have to take note of the Kennen.
Mhm.
Still, even though Kennen is in a good position to survive those magic damage coming in from the Vietnamese team, still, I mean, yes, that's the problem. That's the problem. I mean, there's the threat of this Kennen. You're snowballing on the bottom lane. You have this you have this little advantage, or kind of an advantage. But when the Trinity Force is up for the Ezreal, plus, you know, comboed out with the Kennen, it will be another story. Let's see as they go for an advance here in the top lane. There's a ping. Actually, a threat ping, I think, in the bottom lane. Probability that they might lose an Infernal Ring.
Well, it looks like you see early wave clearing. Actually, Jaehyung had to burn his flash right there. There was some kind of aggression in the bot lane. We actually missed it. But most probably, if I were to make an educated guess, I would probably say that the Thresh landed a hook, also used his box to burn Jaehyung's flash right there. Because as you can see, the AD carry Ezreal actually burned his flash, while the Thresh was burned his ultimate. So an even trade. Actually, it's in favor of the Thresh because his box is gonna come up in like 100 seconds, while the flash is going to be down for another 2 minutes.
Let's see, 3, 4.
2 to 3 minutes. 2 to 3 minutes, more likely.
Yes. 3-4, ladies and gentlemen. Right now, there's kind of a reset being done here in the map, but Levi is still fully committing over this camp in the top lane. Garena trying to predict the hood. It's quite close, ladies and gentlemen. There's a double flash to be done here. No, it's only one flash. It's QTV. In exchange for Shiro's flash to land the Soul Shackles, they still fail to stop Shiro. Shiro's gonna build that Abyssal Scepter now. Let's see though.
As you
Will
can
that
see
be
right
enough?
now, because both supports haven't backed in a really long time, there isn't that much vision control across the map. So both teams had no idea where the junglers are. So I actually am surprised that the Elises kept forcing. That was their second time ganking the
Top lane.
Kennen. So I don't know why you would want to opt for that when there's no vision control. As you can see, the supports have stayed in bot lane for so long, so bot lane obviously doesn't have any wards.
Oh, Strangled Swords followed up with the True Shot Barrage. Gonna go for Celebrity as they know that there's no support. I think that is the Rage Zyra plan. It's paying off. I see the Ignite as well. I think that is on Ron OP. Celebrity gets popped, going so low. Below 100 health. This is the bottom duo. This is the bottom duo of Malaysia owning up, but Optimus gonna join the fight. Jaehyung overstayed his welcome. Gonna receive the Chaos Storm, pulsating damage, brings 300 move onto Optimus. And another on top of the Siphon Power. Optimus gets the double kill, removing the bottom duo as well against the Team Malaysia.
That's actually one of the repercussions of running a poke support, because you end up slowly pushing the lane.
Yes.
So you actually you could see like that only happened because they were already shoved up towards the turret of Vietnam. They were slowly shoving there, and aside from that, Ron OP dying is one of the reasons why all in supports are very weak against poke supports.
Yes, of course. All in supports are, especially if because all in gets countered by City. But look at that, Dark Binding will connect follow up with the Death Sentence. Not really intuitive, especially with the cannon. On the back, and as well as you remove the Lee Sin on the pull of the Morgana. But going back, wait, hold on, thought another engage here. This Optimus is racking up kills over this Victor, removing the mid laner, 6-1-0, and a 1-2-1 KDA left here for the mid lane of the Malaysian team. A momentum is being built here, clearly, for the Vietnamese team after the Infernal Drake has been taken.
Wow, the outplay actually, he was able to flash the Orianna Shockwave as well.
Yeah.
That could have spelled his death.
Yeah, they're gonna be going for all the maps. Will Ron OP connect? No, he's gonna go.
Oh!
Goes for the predict, ladies and gentlemen, on top of the play. Gonna go for the Death Sentence after the Arcane Sheik. Nicely done by Ron OP. OP.
OP.
Wow.
Wow, that the prediction actually worked this time because the flash
Yeah.
prediction a while ago onto the cannon, it didn't quite land.
Yeah,
but
that was on Elise.
yeah, that was on Elise, but like Vietnam, obviously you can see that these people are these teams are actually playing super seriously because they're on the same level. They understand that the enemy team would flash. That's why they can already predict these kinds of movements.
Nicely done. Nicely done by the Vietnamese team. And again, going back on what you mentioned, that poke champions are aggressive champions are countered by poke champions because the poke champions could just, you know, play it safe and not get near over the aggressive champions and just safely land pokes. But here, Caspiel, very questionable engage.
Very, very, very questionable. He actually overextended.
Yeah.
He was gonna go for the kick and then hesitated, so that costed him his life. But yeah, usually when you have like these kinds of bot lane matchups, usually sustain can counter poke, while poke counters all in and all in
Yeah.
counters sustain. So
Yes.
it's just like a triangle where one beats one but loses to the other one.
Yes, it's like as well as how the crowd control triangle
Exactly.
is done. Mobility counters projectile, and I think projectile counters targeted because usually targeted champions are immobile, and I think projectile counters mobility.
Oh yes.
Yeah. No. Targeted counters mobility. It's a point and click. So you know, like for example, as Double Leaf has mentioned, when he is playing Lucian, he hates point and click champions like Irelia. You know, for that CC, even the slow or might be a stun on that equilibrium strike. So there's a lot of Trinity actually in League of Legends that you guys might, you know, be interested to look at. And right now, getting back into the game, it's a 3k gold lead on top of that 5-kill lead here in the pockets of the Vietnamese team. If you look into the itemizations, you could see that Optimus holds the majority of these kills, and of this gold might be as he is now sitting on 2 core items because, you know, it's a fully hex core upgrade scheduled to his level plus a Rylai's.
This is actually going to be very scary because as you can see, all the gold is onto a Victor, and a Victor, even with just a 3-0 Victor, is practically equivalent to a Syndra as well.
Yeah,
because Syndra and Victor are actually pseudo assassins, but they're more AP, if you will.
Yeah.
So having all the gold funneled into the Victor and getting solo gold as well on the turret, it doesn't look very good for Malaysia right now, but the rotations coming out from Vietnam are actually very questionable.
Yes, and I've seen, I think Ron OP gets the kick from Caspiel, so that's one lead offset done by the Malaysian team. And again, I want to expand on that, Victor. Like, gone are the days of the Emperor. There's a new overload in the mid lane.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
and
as you can see, with the superior macro play somewhat of Vietnam, the Victor was able to take 2 turrets away, trading 2 turrets from the mid lane. So had the 2 champions not get caught out in their own jungle, namely the Morgana and the Thresh, they probably had enough wave clear to actually defend the tier 2 mid turret. But since the Ron OP got caught out, QTV couldn't rotate back in time to the mid T2 turret, so he just ended up pushing bot lane.
Yes, ladies and gentlemen, now we are in the 24-minute mark. Still 1 minute 10 seconds before the next break as we try to point out the objectives here that gets to be available in the map. You have to take note that the top lane against the side of the Malaysian team is already cleared. Only the inhibitor turrets remaining standing. So, you know, it could be observed how the map is getting smaller and smaller against the Malaysian team.
What's also very scary is that the Lich Bane is already completed onto the Victor, so he can actually one-shot any person on the enemy team except the Kennen right now, and the Lee Sin.
Yeah, that's how painful the combo of a Victor is.
Exactly, especially when he's 6-1.
Yeah, not to mention, you don't even need the Chaos Storm. There's QTV going to flash in, and Caspiel received the proc of the... Oh my god, it's a 3-man Shockwave! Even on top of the Soul Shackles in the back line, Shear's gonna go at it. Go for the back line, gets removed by the line from the Victor. It's still a big win as 2 members are already got for the Malaysian team in exchange of 1. Levi got so low, and there we go. A momentous approach, a momentous engage and clash won by the Vietnamese team. They're gonna take a Mountain Drake for them. Oh, babe. Yeah, Mountain Drake because there's no bottom lane turret.
That was actually a really good kick into Shockwave combo. let's say it actually almost won them the fight.
Yeah,
But the
yeah.
problem is Vietnam
Not quite
just
clean.
way too ahead.
Yes,
They
yes.
even had a great flank coming out from the Kennen onto the backline of Vietnam, but Vietnam were able to deal with the Kennen without any problems.
Yes, and they cannot really take that Mountain Drake because Elise was removed from that fight. Was Celebrity removed as well? No, it's a 2-for-1, right? Yeah, it's
2-for-1.
Of course, QTB was the one who died, and Levi got solo. But yeah, as you mentioned, members here of the Vietnamese team has that lead. You have to really respect the damage that's coming in from the Victor. So one counter would be trying to pick up the Victor because in terms of the 5v5 team fights, the lead here by Vietnam, especially with the splash damage and the AoE control that the Victor has, is quite difficult to deal
Right
with.
now, I think it would be really difficult for Malaysia to be able to get a pick onto the Victor or any person on the Vietnamese team whatsoever because they don't have that much vision control. Just see how much vision control they have near the Baron side. It's not
Yeah.
even that deep where they can set
Yeah.
up these kinds of plays where they can take a numbers advantage and make it into a 5v4. So the Victor doing slowly in the bot lane can actually rotate and take that T2 turret just because
They
there
can
aren't
build pressure in this
Yes.
Baron side. Yes, gonna go for that 4-1 config here in the mid lane, even as well in the Baron side. Victor, because of the Leech Bane, yes, he's gonna aim for a push, for the split push, especially if he can go for the combo. But that doesn't mean that other members cannot be catched, as QTB once again with the positioning receives a lot of damage and skills from the Malaysian team.
I don't understand why QTB would even go there. He knows that the blue team actually have vision control over the left side jungle. That doesn't give you any opportunity to actually go into their jungle, especially without any red trinket to de-ward.
Yeah.
So it was just very questionable positioning. Why was he even there in the first place? So I'd also like to talk a little bit more about this Morgana and Elise.
Yes.
So this Morgana and Elise, they actually are pretty utility based now because they don't actually build damage. So the Morgana's just there to land her
Yes.
ultimate to
The Dark Binding,
the Dark
Soul
Binding,
Shackles,
the Soul
yes.
Shackles, just to CC everyone, and
Yeah.
then only the Victor and the Jin are the ones who are actually going to be the one to DPS
And
because
it's very
all the
much
gold's
enough.
on them.
Yeah, it's very much enough. Actually, I'm not seeing any stellar curtain call.
We haven't
This game.
actually seen a lot of
Yeah.
curtain calls this game. We've only
Yeah.
seen that one at
Interesting.
bot lane, but nothing so far very interesting coming out from Celebrities.
But yeah, I'm
Jin.
interested how Celebrity plays Jin because usually Jin players spams those curtain call. Sometimes they mentioning Uzi, he initiates with a curtain call.
Yes.
So
This
let's
is
see.
very scary though, because if Vietnam does not close this game quickly, this Morgana won't be as useful as Kennen.
I see.
Aside from that, an Orianna is very scary in the late game, together with an Ezreal. So I have a feeling that it's going to, if they don't close this out earlier, or in the next few minutes, it's going to get very chaotic in the late game, where it's going to be a one team fight game.
But you still have to respect the damage that comes from the Zyra as well. So it's like it's anybody's game still at this point. At the very least, Vietnam, as you mentioned, they really need to rush things right now and be more decisive when it comes to engages, especially now that they have a lead, or to be said that they have a momentum as well. Maybe they can aim for a forced team fight. Let's
Exactly.
see. They can force a fight against.
So QTV actually
Malaysia.
getting caught out a few minutes ago gave Malaysia a few more minutes to crawl their way back into this game. 4K gold lead is nothing because at this point in time, it's practically... Oh, but we have Optimus going straight into Jaehyung.
Wow, even with the Blade of the Ruin kicks low, doesn't even matter. There's a lot of damage from that Siphon power. Victor is very powerful.
Victor is very powerful, especially when he builds that way. If he builds Rabadon Deathcap as well, then I guess it's lights out for any carry whatsoever.
Yeah. So even though Malaysia decided to fight as they got quite a pick off against Rono B, the support is not the best option. You can see that the teleport is coming in from QTV. Wouldn't get a distance though. Force a flash on against Caspiel. There's the rappel, followed up with the resonating strike. And let's see how this Curtain Gold gets the bullet, second bullet, making it the fourth bullet, not even needed as Optimus is on the chase, on the hunt. Oh, nicely done. Deadly Flurry, slicing measure with Optimus gets popped, gonna flash out, and Celebrity will do the kill in substitute of Optimus. 3-4-0 exchange plus the inner mid lane turret.
You can just see how desperate Malaysia is right now, using 2 ultimates just to try to kill a tanky Thresh that has Locket. Remember how we were talking about how they have 3 magic damage sources?
Yeah.
They threw 2 magic damage ultimates onto a Thresh that has Locket. So there's minimal chance for you to actually kill the Thresh there. And they got punished for it by the Vietnamese team.
Yeah, so Vietnamese team is playing this now really well by the book and insightfully done as they are set to finish, make those, or assert their lead more and more, especially with this Baron buff. Gonna
Yes.
take in that lead with the Baron power play. Let's go for this replay. So what happened?
So as you can see, there was actually a collapse from Optimus. Optimus came from the top lane and then just went straight to there and just cleaned it all up actually.
Yeah.
What was interesting was the initial engage that Malaysia tried to accomplish with Vietnam, because they threw everything and the kitchen sink onto the Thresh.
Yeah, a lot has been thrown into quite a tanky target. The tankiest, probably the tankiest member to be said.
Yes.
From the Vietnamese team.
And yet you couldn't. With two ultimates, you still couldn't kill them. So Malaysia is running out of time right now because
Wow! Caspiel, what is Caspiel doing here? Managed to kick an Elise, but do take note that there's the rappel. So he will lantern out his safety. 5 members here on the right side jungles from the Malaysian team, forced to retreat out. A lot of vision has been lost. They have to take note that a Baron buff is still present on this Vietnamese team.
yes, but the problem is Vietnam hasn't prepped their top lane, so they have to send someone to the top lane to check it, or else they're going to lose pressure on the top lane. Ideally, you want all 3 lanes pushing towards Malaysia so that they can have freedom to rotate to either of the 3 lanes.
I see, yes, of course, especially with this Baron, if ever they want to enter the lower portions of the map. Let's see, there's a recall though on Road OP, and it is left only for Optimus to push this bottom lane. Ghost gets popped. They're gonna go all in onto our heads. I think it's quite risky as is, especially with the shockwave and the zone potential coming in from the Oriana, and he knows as well that members here of the Malaysian team is, leading the bottom lane side.
That was so awkward. He just walked up, used his Chaos Storm, and then went back. Wow. Just asserting his dominance onto the Oriana. Optimus just showing him who's the better mid laner.
Optimus has been around the Southeast Asian region. Probably
Really?
one of the popular names. Yes, probably one of the popular names. He's been playing in the GPL. And now he's making waves once again. One of the favorite players. Quite, deserving to be voted here at the Garena All-Star Championship.
So that's the ideal rotation now. They have top lane and mid lane pushing in. So the thing about having Baron empowered minions, by the way, Baron is already 1/4 of his duration, so it's going to expire in the next minute or so. So it's either Vietnam has to force something now, or they have to wait until the next objective, which just slowly gives Malaysia a little more time to recollect themselves and plan, because that's the only thing they can do right now. They have lost all vision control in their jungle. They only have a few entry wards, and it doesn't seem very good because Vietnam's already denying them all of the vision control that they have.
It's really not already very good. Do take note that the death cap pertaining that has been completed on this victor. So it's a matter of landing those kills. And matter of taking up a proper positioning. Do take note as well that the Baron buff is still available. I doubt that the next 2 minion wave there will still be a Baron buff, but Caspiel receives the death sentence. Quite a tanky target. Not quite that you would want to land your Chaos Storm. You still have the wave clear, you still have the pressure. Let's see. Top lane is pushing in favor, I'd say.
It's pushing towards Vietnam,
yes,
while
Malaysia.
bot lane is also slowly pushing towards Vietnam. So they
lost
actually
control.
have to send Optimus and QTV to both top and to bot lane and top lane respectively to start letting the wave push towards Malaysia again.
Yeah, you can see as well how Caspiel is dueling up with QTV. QTV forced to use his Zhonya's Hourglass. It's kind of awkward. There's a lot of kin coming in from this Lee Sin. But on top of the Tormented Soil, he receives the Dark Binding. Now that's a lot of damage and also pressure loss, you know, of where could Lee Sin has been. But there's 2 members getting invested on this Lee Sin, and that prompts 4 members to be available and, you know, defend this bottom lane against the Victor.
The sad thing there is the Lee Sin tried to stop the Morgana from actually dealing from shoving the lane, but actually failed, and is now just sending Levi on a wild goose chase right now, while he's left 4 of his teammates to actually defend to the base. Levi just missing the cocoon by a few inches, almost got
got
the Lee Sin.
yes. So right now, at the very least, with a series of, you know, far-off engages. Oh, there's a nice flash done there by Zoraveki, that by connecting the grasping roots. One of the bottom duo of the Vietnamese team. So that still stops the push, the pressure against their base. But what can they do once the Vietnamese team has react their you know, itemizations, and after this reset is over, you could also take note that 1 minute 25 seconds another Baron will be available. There's also this looming threat of an Elder Drake spawning in the reef, now entering the 2-minute mark, or rather 1 minute 50 seconds.
This is actually very scary. The dragons that Vietnam has actually gotten are super good.
Yeah.
Because Infernal Drake does really well, especially with Victor and Jin. Especially with Jin. And then you have double Mountain Drake. So together, couple that together with a Lich Bane, and turrets will melt like butter to this Victor.
So it's a matter of time. 1 minute 30 seconds.
Yes,
it's
as
like
you can see, the Victor already has 6 items,
Yeah.
while Jin is already 5 items up.
If you can see the aura that's around the Victor, he even has that elixir. Let's see, initiate down there by Caspiel, removes or puts the Sonic Wave onto Celebrity, Resonating Strike, gonna put it in, Ward Hop, quite slow, gets the kick onto Celebrity. At the very least, I think Celebrity was forced to use his heal only, not the flash. So that's a lot invested
This
by
hard
the
commit
Malaysian
coming
team.
out from Malaysia actually cost them an inhibitor turret, possibly even an inhibitor, because they actually rotated really far away from their base, and then they were forced onto the left side jungle.
Oh my god.
Yeah,
The damage.
that's the power of a Victor, a 6-item Victor versus everyone.
Oh my
Just
god.
So strong. He probably could get the pentakill here as well.
He's
Wow.
been zapping people. He's gonna zap. He's gonna zap the Oriana. Will Optimus do it, ladies and gentlemen? Puts the gravity field also making quadra kill, ladies and gentlemen. Will there be a Penta? Caspiel is sitting under the base. QTV gonna flash in. There's still the bait. And I think that is the pentakill denied against Optimus, but the victory given with his teammates.
That's
Nicely
very
done.
scary, especially when you have a Victor that has that much gold.
Yeah, how
Very no bueno.
Optimus showing us how it is done, how it is that he is voted as the mid laner for the Vietnamese team. Congratulations for the Vietnam Championship Series A, and a big shoutouts and props to Optimus.
Yes, wow, that was incredible. Just all the gold was funneled to him.
Yeah.
And that's what a Victor can do when all the gold is funneled to him. He just 2-shots everyone.
I thought that guy was already nerfed. It's still very strong, right?
It's still very strong, especially the way he built. He built very greedily.
Yeah.
If you saw, he had Rabadons, he had Void Staff, he had Lich Bane. Usually you don't go full AD, full AP.
Full AP, yeah.
Yeah, if I would even be surprised if he sold the Rylai's and just bought a Ludens,
Echo,
just to instantly burst anyone. Because I don't think people would actually live through his spells to actually be slowed.
Well, interestingly, I mean, in the game where there's still a damage potential coming in from the Malaysian team, what he built first was the Rylai's.
Yes.
So at least the tankiest item among his, you know, six item block, 6 items when he reached that late game phase. It was nicely done by Optimus, but end up with Optimus. What happened totally during that game?
Well, what you could see there is like Malaysia, they had a lot. They could have done more. I feel like they could have done more with their composition, but they never really got any good fights.
Yeah.
And the moment they started getting a decent fight, and by decent I mean they had a chance of winning, they were already so far behind that it didn't matter. Like that shockwave into the Lee Sin kick. That could have actually won them the game, especially because Kennen had a TP flank onto the Vietnamese backline, but
I
it didn't
see.
matter because of the gold lead.
Yeah.
It kind of just destroyed their engage, even though it was really good. Like, the Kennen was building a lot of magic resist,
Magic,
so
yes.
he just got destroyed by the Jin.
Yeah, I'd say. So it was we thought the Vietnam team has no proper direct counter against the Cannon, but it's not really the story of the Cannon. I mean, this Victor mid lane is going out of hand, you know, and we're yet to see any stellar setup against the Orianna. I would say if maybe there's someone who's more proper to deliver the ball
Yeah.
for Orianna's side, maybe it could be another game change as well on the, at least keep the mid lane in check. What happened in that one? Because I think a lot of pressure has been put in the, I think in the bottom lane, and well, the top lane is kind of, you know, as we mentioned, expected from a Morgana and a Cannon matchup.
I
That
feel like the Orianna
as
got
in-
abused because of her summoner cooldowns.
yeah.
And aside from that, she played aggressively even though she had no summoners, which was
Ah,
very questionable.
I
Like,
see.
remember
Yes,
the
yes, yes, yes.
invade that happened in the in the Vietnamese red buff?
Yeah.
She burned a cleanse there for nothing. So like a lot of these usage
Alright.
of summoners were very suboptimal.
It was because of the summoner spells.
Mhm.
Yeah, I'd say, I mean, so that game, yeah, one of the highlights of that game, if you want to look at it critically, take note of the summoner spells when they are gone,
Exactly.
and what are the plays that revolves around whenever a summoner spell has been reported to be gone on a certain lane.
Yes, and
Yes.
also just Ghost is super strong as a summoner skill.
Yes.
Ghost over cleanse. You can just see Ghost always was up for Optimus, and he was able to use it properly.
Yeah.
As compared to the cleanse, which is more defensive.
I think the ghost buff really works so well with the Victor.
Exactly.
So there it, guys. Thank you so much for that very beautiful analysis. Iconic as always. And the biggest congratulations for Team Vietnam taking that victory against Malaysia. So
Yeah.
that is our Game 6 concluded, ladies and gentlemen. And once again, for the results, the standings and the rankings, and for the bracket, for the playoffs that will proceed tomorrow, it's you can check that one on allstar.garena.vn. Before we conclude, I would like to send my bigger shoutouts to my special someone, that is Phoebe Mendiola, and of course to my brother as well, to Hansel Guevara. Congratulations to you, bro, on your licensure. Thank you so much. Do you have anyone to thank as well?
Shout out to all the Iconatics.
Iconatics, yes. Be sure to
Yes.
check the stream.
Yeah.
For Iconic stream. Twitch.tv/XIconic.
X-Iconic.
Guys, seriously.
So,
Watch Iconic. You learn a lot. In my opinion, Iconic gives the best insights, because there's a lot of good players in the Philippines, but the problem is that they cannot expound it so well. So, guys, you may want to check out Iconic's Twitch stream. You will learn a lot. I mean, if you're interested for the Philippine
Yes.
League, and of course for our Filipino viewers, a big shout outs to all of our viewers. This is the English broadcast of the day 2 for the group stage of the Garena All-Star Championships 2016. As I've mentioned, tomorrow's gonna be the playoffs. We're gonna proceed to the semi-finals, and of course on Sunday is gonna be the finals. All of them are live in Ho Chi Minh City, Vietnam, and we have been your shoutcasters. I am Shinbu with a 1 for an eye, and once again, this is Iconic. This is the Garena All-Star Championship 2016. Bidding goodbye, and guys, have a wonderful evening. Will receive the prop of the, oh my god, it's a 3-man shockwave, even on top of the Soul Shackles in the back line. Shear's gonna go at it, go for the back line, gets removed by the line from the Victor. It's still a big win, as 2 members are already got for the Malaysian team in exchange of 1. Levi got so low, and there we go, a momentous. So even though Malaysia decided to fight, as they got quite a big off against Rono, the support is not the best option. You can see that the teleports coming in from QTV. Wouldn't get a distance though. Force a flash against Caspiel. There's the rappel, followed up with the resonating strike. And let's see how this Curtain Goal gets the bullet. Second bullet, making that the 4th bullet, not even treated, as Optimus is on the chase of the Hawk. Oh, nicely done. The Niffler is slicing measure with Optimus gets popped. Gonna flash out, and Celebrity will do the kill in substitute of Optimus. 3-4-0
and they were
exchange
forced onto
plus.
the left side
Oh.
jungle. Yeah. That's the power of a Victor, a 6-item Victor versus everyone.
Oh my
Just
god!
so strong. He probably could get the pentakill here as well.
He's
Wow.
been zapping people! He's gonna zap! He's gonna zap the Orianna. Will Optimus do it, ladies and gentlemen? Puts the gravity field also out of making quadra kill, ladies and gentlemen. Will there be a Penta? Caspiel is sitting under the base. QTV gonna flash in. There's still the bait. And I think that is the Pentakill denied against Optimus, but the victory given with his teammates.
That's
Nicely
very
done.
scary, especially when you have a
Yeah.
Victor that has that much gold.
Yeah, how
Very no bueno.
Optimus showing us how it is done, how it is that he is voted as the mid laner for the Vietnamese